If you just got the ZV E10 Mark II and you want to know the fastest, most impactful settings for this powerful little camera, then you're in the right place. If you're interested in getting the most out of this camera for photos or videos or both, these 5 things actually make a difference for your new Sony ZV E10 Mark II. I think number 3 is the most surprising, but I'll let you be the judge. I'm glad Sony finally gave this one to us. Number 1 is going to be how to maximize your video quality settings. Look, whether you're in intelligent auto mode or in manual mode, please make sure you have these settings dialed in to get the highest video quality. One of the best things about the ZV E10 Mark II is that it can record in what's called 10-bit color, which looks fantastic, and I'd hate to have somebody out there who's accidentally in 8-bit. Okay, to access that 10-bit as well as a couple other things that make a big difference for really good video quality, we're on this 3rd tab here. We're gonna go to image quality recording, down here to movie settings, and you're gonna go to record setting and make sure that you're in the one that says 10-bit at the highest, right? My example here is 140M. You might have a little bit of different options there, but just choose the highest number and make sure that you're recording in 10-bit to get that nice 10-bit color. Next, under record frame rate, and again, this is whether you're in manual or auto, these will both work the same. What you're gonna do is 24 or 30 is your normal, just kind of talking head style, vlog style. Majority of what you're gonna shoot is gonna be 24 or 30. 60 would be a little more special case, or if you're doing like a slow motion style shot, but generally speaking, 24 or 30 is where you're gonna wanna be. A little bit of preference there. Most will go with 24. We'll talk a different day on why I choose 30. Anyways, back over here for file format. You wanna shoot in 4K to get the highest resolution. Sure, the file sizes are a little bit bigger than HD, but we got this nice ZV E10 Mark II to get the best quality, in which case you wanna use 4K. So a few 4K options here. XAVC SI is arguably the highest quality. It's also going to be the biggest files that the camera can produce. They're quite large. I don't typically shoot in SI. I haven't noticed a big difference between SI and regular XAVC S. There's also XAVC HS 4K, which is kind of the best of both worlds. XAVC S is Sony's very traditional codec for these types of cameras. Really small files, really nice to work with. XAVC HS is the best of both worlds, where it's supposedly really high quality and really efficient small files. Downside to HS is it's an H.265 file type as opposed to H.264. Just make sure if you're recording in HS, because you like the sound of high quality, low files, that your computer does support editing H.265 file types. I go with XAVC-S. I would recommend most people do the same. Right before we get into setting number 2, which is all about how to nail your focus, I'm gonna take the ZV E10 out for a vlog style shot so we can get an idea of how well it performs for that style of shot while I tell you about today's video sponsor, which is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is on a mission to make starting therapy easy. BetterHelp is a platform where therapists and their clients can communicate effectively to get the most out of therapy. At least for me, what I've found is that proactively keeping this clear has helped me a ton with everything I'm doing creatively or anything else in my professional life to be way more effective. Starting therapy has been incredibly easy with BetterHelp. You fill out a simple questionnaire and you'll be matched with a really good therapist within a couple of days. One of the best features of BetterHelp is that if the first therapist doesn't feel like the right fit, you can easily switch to another one until you find someone that you really connect with. They carefully make sure that the therapists on the platform are well qualified, and their customer support team is there to help you if you have any questions. With over 7,000 reviews and a 4.5 rating on Trustpilot, BetterHelp is a platform you can trust. Look, if you're struggling with something or you want some clarity or a non-biased party to talk to, you can go to betterhelp.com/Sean DeWispelaire or click the link in the description for 10% off your first month. Setting number 2 is focus area. This section is going to have a few bonus tips to help you nail your focus, because nothing's worse than missing your focus, except for maybe dead batteries. that kind of stinks, or the last sip of Celsius. Your camera is going to come out of box in this wide focus area, which essentially means it's using the entire frame as potential focus points, which is great, but there will be situations where you might want to limit the area at which the camera is focusing to reduce the odds of focusing on the wrong things. So accessing some of these focus area settings, I'm just going to go down here to this purple AF/MF tab, and under focus area, again, camera's going to come out of box in what's called this wide setting, and then you can just scroll down to different options. Let's talk through each of these briefly. Zone, you can see by this box here, you can choose the actual part of the frame. Let's say I'm doing a video like this. I probably want the camera only to focus within that area and not try to focus outside of the center of the frame. So just one quick way that you can quickly just change what area the camera is utilizing to actually focus on. And then we have center, where it's just going to fix right in the center. So in anything in that white box, regardless of what settings we go through here, is where you're going to be telling the camera to focus. Then you have spot, which spot is similar to center. The difference here is you can quickly toggle between the size to get like really precise under like small there. I'm just going to click on this large one here. It does the same whether it's a medium or small, and you can actually change that exact point where you want the camera to focus, which can be nice when you want to get something really kind of quick and also really just dialed into where you want the focus to be without any odds of it focusing elsewhere. You then have expand spot, which this one's very similar to what we just talked about. The difference is it's going to just use that inner box there as like the main prioritized spot to focus, or any area like slightly outside of it, which is showing by those bigger white boxes there. Now, one thing you can do here is you can actually limit when you go to that focus area and you have all these options to choose from. One thing I'll typically do is go here to focus area limit. We're going to toggle into that and we get this screen. This is essentially whatever's checked is what's going to be available for us to cycle through in terms of focus modes. For me, I have wide on, I'll leave zone on, I'll turn center fix off, I'll turn all of these movable points off besides expand spot. I think expand spot does the same thing as all of these with the benefit of the slight expansion, and then I'll hit OK. And now when I go to focus area, I'm only getting the options, so it's not as overwhelming. I'm only getting the options that I had selected. I use wide for the instance of having the camera focus on everything on the frame. This is really good for our touch tracking, which we'll talk about. And then zone, I'm in 99% of the time, just a larger box. And then I'll have this expand spot when I want to precision kind of focus on something with a little bit of flexibility outside of that box. Okay, our first little focus related bonus tip is all about this product showcase feature, which you can turn that setting, can toggle product showcase on or off right here. It's a nice little setting when you're doing a type of video where you're holding a product up, let's say in front of your face, and you want the camera to toggle focus between that product and then jump right back to your face. That's the only time I would use this. Otherwise, I'd completely turn this setting off, because when it's on, the camera does have a tendency to misfocus, generally speaking, unless you're doing a shot where you're holding a product up in front of your face often, in which case it works really well. But besides a shot like that, I would just turn this off. One more little bonus tip is all about touch to track. So when your focus area, this works best it works in all focus areas, but it works best in Y, meaning that once you track something, it's going to track across the entire frame. So we're going to go down here to this toolbox again, and I'm going to go to number 5, which is touch operation, and just make sure that that is set to on. So now when you touch a subject on the back of the camera screen, we'll talk about this iPad situation in a second, but just pretend it's the back of the camera screen. When you touch a subject on the back of the camera screen, it's going to track that subject around the frame. The third setting is to download the free Sony Monitor App. You might be thinking that you don't need an external monitor and you're just going to use the back of the camera. I use the back of the camera all the time, and as a solo creator, I also love being able to actually monitor my footage on something that's not the back of the camera. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if you have the ZV E10 Mark II, that you're probably a solo creator too. And being able to monitor your shots is an absolute game changer. And the app is free and really easy to set up, and for a shot especially like this, this app is an absolute game changer, just to even make sure, although there's a lot more technical features in here, just to make sure that your focus, you can tap to focus, just to make sure your focus is on point and that you like your overall frame. This is a huge win. And if you're getting something from this video, let me know by giving it a tap on the thumbs up to let me know to keep making videos just like this one. Our fourth setting is what's called different settings for photo and video. The ZV E10 Mark II is pretty impressive for both photography and videography, which is awesome. It also means we're probably going to be toggling between photo mode and video mode pretty often. And if you change this setting, it's actually going to save you a ton of time when you're toggling between those two things to maintain and separate your settings between the two. Here's how to find that different setting for photo and video. I'm down here at the toolbox, the yellow tab. We're going to go to Operation Customize, and from there we're going to go to different set for still and movie. And this screen is essentially saying whatever has a checkbox next to it on the next screen will be isolated for photo and video. So what does that mean? Let's go in here. If you want the Cliff's Notes, the short answer, I just check all of these, but let's talk about what this actually means. Okay, so different set for stills and movies. This means this checkbox here on the aperture. This just means that, let's say I'm in movie mode on the camera and I have my aperture set at 1.8. And then I toggle over to photo mode. And let's say I want to change my aperture to like f4. And I change my aperture to f4. When I toggle back into movie mode, the aperture will have stayed at 1.8 where I had it for my videos. And then when I toggle back to photo, it'll stay at f4. So they're independent settings regardless whether you're in video or photo. For me, I can't think of a time where I'd ever want to, like, let's just say my ISO, like change my ISO in video and then want that exact same ISO over in photo. I just would like to have those to be completely independent to be able to change them. So I check every single one of these and then hit OK, so that whatever I'm doing in video with the settings that are available on screen here, that whatever I change those to when I go back into photo mode, that they're not the same as I had them in video, they're where I left them for photos. Our fifth setting is all about changing the camera between intelligent auto mode and manual mode. We can change that setting right here in the menu system. This little green icon is for intelligent auto, and then we can scroll down to the M, which stands for manual. And that's going to be the same for both photo and video. Intelligent auto can be a really good place to be when you're just starting out and you want to have the camera make all of the, we're just going to say, exposure and color decisions for you. Auto is not going to have nearly as much customization capability as manual. So if you're watching a YouTube video and you're hearing about how to change all these settings, then you go into your menu and realize that they're all grayed out and you can't change them. It's probably because your camera is in auto mode. And look, intelligent auto is going to do a really good job at making your life very easy, having the camera make all of the exposure and color decisions for you. It's not going to nail it every time, and there could be moments of frustration where it doesn't look exactly how you want it to. The trade-off there is it's pretty easy. Get your frame, get your focus, point and shoot, and you're probably going to like the outcome for the most part. At some point, you're going to want to take those training wheels off, most likely, and get into manual, where you have complete control over everything in the camera. At first, that's going to be a challenge if you don't know what those things actually do, and you're not going to like your result all that much. But over time, getting into manual is going to make it so that you can get the shot you want and exactly how you want it to look every single time. It's not as scary as you might think. And to help you on your manual setting journey, I have a lot more videos planned for this ZV E10 Mark II on this channel. Tutorials, walkthroughs, everything you need to get the absolute most out of the camera. Head down, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on any of those. We'd love to have you a part of what we got going on this channel. As powerful as all of those settings are, unfortunately, none of that's going to matter if you don't understand what's called white balance. Learning how to nail your white balance in camera is going to make all the difference to make your videos and photos look good, which is exactly why I put together probably my favorite video that I've made, this complete white balance guide. It's even in the old studio. This is the new one. Walkthrough coming soon. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. See ya.